Right.
The way he talks, oh my god. Oh, la, 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 la.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Dream Teams on the James Lawrence Allcott channel. This is something else, this one. You're going to absolutely love it. You've clicked on this button and you have no idea what you're about to experience, but I'm telling you, you're going to enjoy it. I asked Emmanuel Petit to put forward his dream team based on players that weren't the best, but players that he absolutely loved. And the interview was outrageous. He talks about players that really hit his soul, but also he does the best impression of a player that you would never expect from his time at Arsenal. Without further ado, this is my chat with Emmanuel Petit. Massive thank you to Paddy Power for putting it together. Right then, guys, this is pretty special. Emmanuel Petit is on the James Lawrence Allcott channel. We're about to go through his dream team, a team of players, wonderful players. I'm looking at them right now. Before we get into that, though, Emmanuel, what's given me the joy of being able to chat to you today? I know you're working with Paddy Power.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Yeah, of course, I'm working for a couple of years with Paddy Power, and you know that Paddy Power has launched 2 Paddy Parks in London and Newcastle for the duration of Euro 2020. So we expect a lot of fans, the return of the fans, and for the ticket sales as well. Mm-hmm. So be more than welcome to go over there.
Yes, it's going to be great. I think it's not a place for a suave Frenchman like yourself, because there's a lot of beer being thrown. In France, that stuff doesn't happen. You're far too sophisticated for that, right?
No, we are still waiting the bars to open. I think only the terrace are open, actually.
Right. Okay. Well, yeah. I think we're all looking forward to it. So yeah, it's the Paddy Power Parks are going to be up and running. So guys, go check them out if you want to throw beer when goals get scored, because that's the beautiful part of it all. Hopefully, as England go, and maybe I know France are probably the favourites, surely the favourites, champions of the world. But enough of that. We're going to talk about your team here, because there are some Euro winners here, including, of course, yourself. You're very humble. You haven't put yourself in your team, which is good. This is kind of what generally people have done. You never do that. Okay.
No.
Let's dive into it. Let's get straight into it with your goalkeeper. In goal, you've gone with Fabien Barthez. So,
oh yeah.
From an English,
I want to let you know before we start. This is not my best 11.
No.
This is my best friendship 11.
Amazing. That's exactly what I wanted. I'm so pleased you said that, because I think that's it. Like, you can have all those great players. That's one thing, but it's players that mean something to you, and so that's why I'm excited about diving into. So why is Fabien Barthez so important to you then, Emmanuel?
I think Fabien, because he's a crazy guy. He's living his own world, and I remember the way he was preparing the game. He was always in the moon. Maybe because he was a goalkeeper, and more than that, his personality, his character, the pressure was not. He was not impacted by the pressure all the time. He was always beside the team in his own world, and I loved him for that. And we still have a great relationship since 20 years now.
That's amazing.
And he's keep on doing that, and I really like him for the person he is before. Talking about the player,
because of course we've got some French stars in this team of yours, but it's going to that World Cup and of course the Euros as well, especially the World Cup. There was a real pressure on the team. Was his personality something that allowed you? Did that alleviate that in the squad a little bit?
Yes, because Fabien was typical in one thing. When we were under big troubles, surrounding by big pressure, especially during some games, I remember how many times he gave us a smile, try to relax his teammates all the time. We were in the middle of a storm, trying not to concede a goal, and I don't know, I can't remember how many times, he stopped the ball, and then he looked at me with a smile. What, thinking to myself, this guy is crazy.
Yeah.
Does he know exactly where he is actually? What game we playing?
Do you know, I watched the highlights of the World Cup final, and I remember the game vaguely, but watching the highlights back, it was interesting just how much France dominated in that game that you obviously played, assisted a goal and scored a goal in. But there is a moment where a cross comes in and Fabien Barthez comes and gets it, and he sort of flaps at it a little bit, and you're right underneath him. So I wonder if that was one of those moments where you've gone, Fabien,
yeah, this is one of the moments, but I have something as well with him, because we used to prepare the game, in Clairefontaine. This is the French castle, And we were individual in our rooms. Most of the players, there were two by each rooms, you know, and he was alone in his room, just like me. And I remember one day I came into this room and his pants, he was preparing, you know, to go to bed. It was probably 10 o'clock in the evening, something like that. And I was with him, we were talking, and all of a sudden he stood up and he put away his pants, but he didn't put his pants, you know, on the chair or in the cabinet. No. He left the pants like that on the floor, and I asked him, listen, you only have to put your pants on the chair. It's right there, it's 2 meters. He said, no, you have to be intelligent. And I said, what do you mean? He said, tomorrow morning when I wake up, I don't have to go on my chair. I just have to put my feet into the pants.
Do you know what? I'm going to show this to my other half, and that will explain to her what I do, because I'm like Fabien, I do the same thing. But yeah, amazing. I'm so pleased you chose it, because yeah, such a character in football. Yeah. Let's move into your defence then. God, some crazy players here. So I'm going to run through the four, because we haven't got too long, and then maybe we can just pick out, you know, what you found so wonderful about each of them. So your back four from left to right is Lizarazu as your left back. Then William Gallas and Tony Adams as your centre backs, and Lilian Thuram as your right back. First of all, Lizarazu, and sometimes I like to find kind of themes in different teams, and I wonder, because I looked at Barthez, and Barthez went into motorsports, didn't he? Sort of had a life and a personality outside of the game itself. And same with Lilian Thuram, a little bit going out, being an ambassador, but Lizarazu as well, another keen sportsman who, you know, was surfing, did jiu-jitsu.
The surfing, yeah.
What was Lizarazu like as a player? Because he seemed very different to Fabien Barthez.
Lizarazu, he loves sports. He's dedicated to sports. His whole life is surrounded by sports. He lives in front of the sea, you know, not far from Pires. And I know that he's a great fan of surfing, but not only this kind of sport, you know, every kind of sport, you know, he's a competitor. He loves so much sport that he cannot pass a single journey, a single day without doing sports. And this guy is a sport addict. To be honest with you, he's a sport addict. And I give him a surname, you know, with the national team. You know, he's so small with big muscles, powerful muscles. He's so tight, you know. It's like this guy is like just a ball of muscle. To be honest. It's a ball of muscles, you know.
What's
that's
the French
on the
for
floor, boom, boom, boom. And I like this guy because he's an honest guy. He's a sweet guy. He's intelligent. We can talk about anything. And I can leave him a message. For example, if I leave him a message right now, he will call me back in 30 seconds.
Yeah. Just a great friend to this day.
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yes.
That's beautiful.
Yes. And
I was surprised by William Gallas as a shout. I didn't see that coming at all. You know, you got Marcel Desailly that you've played with. You got Laurent Blanc. Like, why William Gallas?
Because he's one of my best friends, William.
What is he like as a person?
William. William, what he's like as a person? Well, you always have to remind him things because he doesn't have great memories. And I remember when he first came to Chelsea, we were preparing separate dressing room, you know. And I remember we were not in the same room, and every day, when I mean every day, I mean 2 or 3 times per day, he used to come to see me. Manu, what can I do for this? Manu, what should I do for that? Manu, can you help me for this? I was his agent. Even now, don't laugh, even now. He keeps on calling me. Manu, look, the guy is a father of five kids, and he keeps on calling me.
Is he losing the kids? I've lost one. Yeah. I've lost one. Wow.
I should have been his agent, you know?
Yeah.
And but I love him because he has a great heart. This guy is honest, he's straightforward, and I like, you know, people that straight with personality and character. And this is exactly what William is. And he's one of my best friends in football since a long time now.
Alongside him, you got with Tony Adams. So the question I have about Tony Adams as a player was, as a player who's used to playing kind of technical football, although of course you were about work rate and great tackling and all those things as well, but you had a wonderful left foot. When you came to England and you played with Tony Adams and that back 4 and 5, were you surprised by Tony Adams? Because the fact that he's in your team makes me think that maybe he was better than you expected.
To be honest with you, when I first signed for Arsenal, I heard about Tony Adams, when I was in France, but not that much. But as soon as I came to Arsenal and I started to get some relationship with my teammates, I tried to learn English as soon as possible. And I loved it. To be honest with you, I loved it. I loved my time back in the days at Arsenal with this team, with those guys, with all those characters, with Wright, for example. I could have put Wright as well in the team. This guy is crazy.
Yeah.
But no, honestly.
You like the crazy, don't you, it seems like?
I love crazy. I'm so bored with normal people.
That's amazing. Well, so I guess, but you met Tony was a little bit more crazy before you met him.
Yes, and Tony, after a couple of weeks, I started to learn more from him, to learn his history, his private life, how he was. It was a miracle for him to keep on playing football. When you look at his physical, for me, it's a curiosity. This guy was a curiosity for me, outside the pitch and on the pitch as well. I was always thinking, always wondering, how can he play a football game with the intensity of the Premier League, with all the fight he has to do, And every time I was looking at him, I was thinking, how on earth this guy could play a typical professional football game? That's impossible. This is a nonsense.
What do you mean by that? Why couldn't you believe
he
it?
used to train on only the last 2 days of the week before the game, when we didn't play every 3 days, and he was always working. You could feel the pain, physically. Wow. You could feel his pain, but this guy was a leader. He was a leader in the team. He was carrying on the leadership of the team. He was brave. He was an example, the commitment and everything. And when I started to get interested about his private life, what he went through with his family, his personal problem with alcohol, things like this. I was thinking, this guy, it's a miracle. Yeah. It's one of the best messages I've learned in football, but was from Tony Adams. Yeah, that you can have your knees, you can bend over, you can have a knees on the floor, it's hard for you, to keep on live, but this guy was always trying to stand up, with proud, he was trying to give his best all the time, and I loved it. For me, life is this. Life is a fight, and when I look at Tony, I really understand this message.
Amazing. On the right-hand side, and we need to get into your midfield, but Lilian Thuram, I just wanted to talk about your memories of his performance in that semi-final against Croatia, because I know he's spoken about how he was sort of not kind of possessed, but he was just like, it was sort of an out-of-body experience. What are your memories of him?
But for me, simple. It's like playing lottery. If you tell Lilian Thuram before the game you're gonna score the 2 winning goals, and we're gonna go to the final because of you, I'm pretty sure that all the players will laugh in the dressing room. And this is, I remember when he scored the second goal, he did this, he put his finger on the mouth like this. What is happening to me? I'm not supposed to score those goals.
That's crazy, isn't it? Again, another player. Like looking at you and your career. The teams that you played for, like Monaco, Arsenal, Barcelona. Wow. I looked at the teams that he played for, and he finished at Barcelona. His teams were Monaco, Parma, Juventus, Barcelona. Just like iconic teams and players. What a guy. What a
But
player.
Lilian is different because we know each other since we are 14 or 15 years old. Because I saw him, coming
Monaco,
to the Monaco Academy when I was already playing with the first team. And I remember the first training session he had with us. He made a huge impact. He was the only one. He was young. He was probably 17 or 18 years old. He was the only one to compete Marc Atley and José Touré in the air. Marc Atley was jumping so high. He was strong physically. It was very difficult to get a ball in the air with him. But Lilian was the only one to fight against him. Wow. And he was 18 years old. And I loved Lilian because we know each other since a long time. I know his kids now. One of them is playing for the national team now, Marcus. And I remember talking to Marcus when we were leaving, the hotel on the way to the stadium. I remember his father talking to him as a kid. I have so much memories with him. It's not only based on football. It's based on private life, on family, on
history,
on life.
You've got history, right? Yeah, huge history. Right, let's move into your midfield, and I'm just going to hand it over to you. Run me through your midfield because there's two names in there that I was just like, huh? So, but of course it's about so much more than that, which I love. So yeah, go for it. Take me through your midfield.
It's Patrick
Viera,
of course, Patrick. What can I say that we didn't say already about Patrick and I? And great relationship on the pitch and outside the pitch as well. It was a great pleasure for me to go and see him at Nice last summer when he was in preparation with his team. And I wish him the best of luck. Actually, there is a big rumors that he could go to Lille. Oh, wow. The champions, yeah. So I hope he's gonna rebound. But Patrick,
because you two as a partnership,
like for me,
you two as like sorry, Emmanuel, but you two as a partnership is something that's so, like, Arsenal fans in particular would just be so ingrained in their minds. But again, when I watch those World Cup highlights and you score that goal and you fall to your knees and turn around, who's the first person to hug you? Patrick. It got me. I was like, oh. Like, because you're just together, right?
That was not a surprise. That came straight after we won the double with Arsenal, after the season we did together in the midfield area. Patrick is like a brother for me. Just like William, those guys, For me, I will do everything for him.
That's amazing.
If he asks me anything, I will do it for him. So that shows you how much I like him. I won't say I love him because nowadays we have to be very careful about what we said.
I reckon you can get away with
it. I don't care. I love him.
That's it. Beautiful. That's what we want. That's what my channel's about. It's all about the love. Take us through, the other players in your team, because his midfield partner. This is where I was like, the insight that would be fascinating for the people to watch my channel with you is your time at Monaco and the amount of unbelievable players that made their way through whilst you were there. But Glenn Hoddle was there kind of at near the end of his career, but the start of yours, right?
Yeah, because when I started my career, I was 17 years old, and I played straight away in the first 11, and I never left the team afterwards. And I had a chance, really, that was probably my biggest chance, when I started. I was the only young player. I was surrounded by Glenn Hoddle, Marc Atley, George Weah, Jean-Luc Ettori, Emmanuel Amoros, Patrick Battiston, all international. They used to play World Cup, European tournament. They used to win trophy, a championship, European Cup. And they all great gentlemen. That was my luck. And I wish to those who want to be professional footballer, I wish them the same start I had back in the days in Monaco. I was surrounded by proper guys, with head on the shoulders, and on top of it, great humanity, humility, hard workers, and all focus on the same desire of winning trophy all together. And Glenn, I loved when Glenn and Marc was there because Marc, his nickname, Marc Atley, was Attila. I don't know if you remember. He came from Italy, from Milan AC, and he earned this nickname Attila because he was so powerful,
right.
But he was so quiet, so shy. And Glenn, he was the magician with the ball. He could do whatever he wanted, technically with the ball. And he was so class and so sweet when he talked to you. He was almost whispering to you when he was talking to you. And I was looking to those guys, because I used to watch them on TV when I was young. And I was dreaming about them. I was, wow, I wish I could be with them. And a couple of years after that, I was with them. And I couldn't talk to them in a dressing room. They were talking to me. I couldn't answer to them. I was so shy. He's talking to me. He's talking to me. What can I say? What can I say? So I used to shut my mouth and to play the best football I could to please them. Mm. And they were protecting me all the time. England was one of them. And it's always a real pleasure to see him, talk to him. I did it recently through Zoom, on the French TV. Mm. And I loved him. I know that he had some troubles, physically recently, but I wish him the best. And to be honest with you, they don't even notice what I'm going to say. But when you start your career, it's very important to be surrounded by those kind of players, because before being great players, they used to be, and they are great men.
Wow. I think that feels like with the few of the people that I've spoke to, ex-professionals, there is that really special moment when you're starting out and someone's near the end, and that wisdom, and if you can be smart enough to soak it up, it can have such an impact on your career.
It's different because nowadays I felt it, when I retired as well in 2003 or 2004. Back in the days, the old generation, they didn't have the same approach, with the young players. They were helping them all the time. It's still the case actually, but it's not the same anymore because I think there is a misjudgment between the old generation and the new generation. The communication are not the same anymore. Mm-hmm. And this is why they don't have the same link between the two generations. My generation, when I started, we had a huge respect for the others. Mm. I won't say that it's not the case anymore, but it's becoming more difficult.
Yeah. And that's such a missed opportunity, isn't it? I mean, that's the big thing. Your other two midfielders, both Arsenal players.
Yes.
Ray Parlour and Robert Pires.
Ray. The way he talks, oh my God. I don't know how many times I laugh privately, because at the beginning I didn't want to laugh in front of him because I didn't want him to feel that I was making a joke or taking a piece of him. But to be honest, he makes me laugh all the time. His relationship with Steve Bolt in this team was great. Amazing.
How so? What was
Steve? Or even with Dennis Bergkamp. Dennis used to make a joke, to make fun of Steve Bolt or Ray Parlour. And Steve as well, Ray Parlour, he was the first one to bring jokes into the dressing room, even on the pitch. Sometimes at the training session, he tried to make jokes on the hard worker, very dedicated on the victory all the time. Great passion, But in the meantime, he kept that, and I loved it.
Amazing.
The way he talked, this guy. The way he speaks. Oh my God. I didn't understand nothing when he talked to me, but so funny. I was laughing.
That is honestly, that is the best Ray Parlour impersonation I've ever heard of. Robert Pires, very different, I would guess. Are they different as people or not?
Robert is one of my closest friends as well in football. It's the same that William or Tutu, Lilian Thuram or Patrick. I don't have to call him 2 or 3 times to get an answer. And I'm planning to see him during the holidays after the European tournament. I love it. Because he lives in Spain now. And honestly, who doesn't like Robert? To be honest with you,
I think there's a few,
he has no enemy.
There might be a few English fans and a few Italian fans.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but he's a great lad. Yeah. He was a wonderful player, amazing skills, and great personality, humility, the same hard worker. It's quite the same quality, you know. I like people, you know. I don't care if you're humble or not, but what I do care is about human values, you know. I think for me this is really important. And those guys, you know, that I've picked in this team, they are something in common, you know. They love human beings and they love humanity. And Robert is such a sweet guy. I think if you look at N'Golo Kanté, the way he is, he reminds me of Robert Pires, the way he is.
And to finish off, let's talk about your front two. Again, really, really special players. Obviously, there's got to be so many strikers that would have to miss out. But again, I love, Emmanuel, how you've totally got what I was after. It's players that mean something to you. So talk me through your two strikers.
Dennis Bergkamp, genius with the ball. He can do anything you wanted. He could create miracle on the pitch. This is why we love football, because he's an artist. Well, I've seen him doing unbelievable things on the pitch at the training ground, even doing a game. I remember his hat-trick he scored against, if I remember well, it was against Sheffield or Leicester, I can't remember.
Yeah, he got a Leicester, he definitely got a
Leicester, he had a hat-trick, but what amazed me the most is a couple of weeks after that was in 1998, he went into the World Cup with Netherlands, and remember he scored exactly the same goal he did against Leicester, against Argentina at Marseille. And I thought, when I look at the goal, he did it already a couple of weeks ago. And he's doing it against Argentina in the World Cup. This guy is unbelievable. Obviously, everyone will think about the goal he scored against Newcastle, you know, when he flicked the ball, you know. But that was one of the skill he had, you know. But on top of it, his personality. Dennis, just like Zinedine Zidane, just like Rivaldo at Barcelona, those magicians, you know, those extra plus, you know, for a team, they never talk in the dressing room.
Really?
Dennis, he was not talking that much, just like Zidane, it's the same. They don't talk, those guys, you know. They only talks on the pitch. They show you the way. They show you what we have to do.
They haven't got time.
Leaders,
is there a feeling that they haven't got time for it? They almost like just let me do my thing.
They don't want to waste their time by talking. They want to show you.
Wow. Oh, God, I wish. That's why I talk. That's why I talk for a living now.
And his personality as well. I think you should ask this to Martin Keown. I think Dennis was the nightmare of Martin Keown.
Day in, day out.
Oh my God! Every single day.
Wow.
He was mad, Martin. Mad. You know, Martin, when he's becoming mad, he's like, he's going everywhere, you know. And Dennis, he was taking a piece of him all the time, and it was so great. It was a joy to watch them.
Amazing. And finally, your final player who played with at Monaco. I think a player that a lot of people know of his name. They don't know too much about him. So, your last pick, George Weah. Tell me about what it was like to play with him.
Amazing, yeah? We're living with internet since a long time. And now with 2 clicks on your computer, you can see whatever happened, you know, everywhere in the world. But they don't know what means George Weah for the African football and for the football. He's the first one to have won the Golden Ball as an African player. This guy, I saw him, the first time I saw him arriving at Monaco, he was walking without shoes. He was just arrived from Africa with a typical dress of Africa. And we saw him, you know, a tall guy, you know, quite physical, you know, but very calm as well. And we were all looking at him, thinking, this is a new player. Yeah, this is a new player. Okay, he's going to change and he's going to train with us. Okay, let's see. Yeah, we saw. My God, what a player.
Yeah.
He was playing with his foot, you know, like the way they're doing it, you know, in Africa. They play like this with no shoes, you know. They can learn how to touch the ball, they can learn everything. When you have the contact, you know, without the shoe. And this guy was always quiet, never says something bad, never been aggressive. He was a true Catholic guy, I think. If I not pas Catholic, no, Muslim. He's a Muslim, but he was living his religion privately all the time, and the way he was conducting his life was everything was based on respect and the joy of life, enjoying the life, but with respect to others, respect with my teammates, with the opponents, with the referee. His behavior on the pitch was an example for me. As I said to you before, when I started my career as a professional footballer, I was so lucky to be surrounded by those guys. They teach me so many things on the pitch and outside the pitch.
Amazing. Emmanuel, I know you've got a lot of other people to talk to. The only thing I'm gutted about is the fact that we can't chat for hours and hours and hours, because that your team is an absolute joy. Thank you so much, Emmanuel,
Thank you, guys,
for sharing your time with me. I really, really appreciate it.
Me too.